but it starts with the leader. So the leader has to start by creating this for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Yeah,
How do you self-assess that?
Man, and that's so hard to do, right? It's so hard to look yourself in the mirror and get on paper and write down what you're responsible for. But doing a KRA for yourself is a really, really good exercise because it helps you stay focused. Then once you know how to do it for yourself, it's that much easier for you to apply that to your team and to be able to create it for your team. And so I have to check my own occasionally and really look at it and say, hey, is this up to date? Does this still reflect what's most important for me bringing value to the business? And so I get to work with my leader, Dave, on my KRA occasionally. But if you're a business owner, if you're a leader at the top, start with yourself. Lead yourself first, and then you can lead your team well.
And if you make a list of, here's what I'm actually doing, here's an audit of my current life versus here's what I'm saying winning looks like for me to grow, for me to have impact, generally there's going to be a big gap. There's going to be a discrepancy where you look down and go, oh, I'm not doing half the things I should be doing if this is what winning looks like. And that causes you to make changes, right?
Exactly. I mean, you look back at your week and you only remember the stuff that was fun, exciting, or hard. You don't remember the mundane things in between that might be really important. Or you don't remember the things that took up a lot of your time that maybe shouldn't have, or all the fires. If you're a leader, I've been through this in many seasons where you're running from fire to fire to fire. Man, you don't have control of your day. Your day has control of you. And so a KRA is a way to check yourself and to know before you get lost in the day of putting out fires, this is what I need to be focused on. So when a fire does pop up, you can contextually say, does this make sense for me to work on? Or do I need to set this aside or delegate this to someone else? Is this my responsibility or is it someone else's responsibility?
So if your KRA is put out fires and you're not an actual firefighter, we've got to make some changes. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere at the end of the year and wonder what happened.
Exactly.
That's so good. So let's talk about the process you go through for creating a KRA for a new team member. We talked about this is not a job posting, but let's say you just hired a new team member and you want this role clarity for them so that they can win, you can win, it's a win-win. Yeah. How do you sit down and do that with them?
Yeah, so for the sake of time, I'm going to run through this really quick. It's a really simple process, but it takes a little bit of time. The first step is to write your name, your title, and then we do...
This is like when you get 10 points on the exam just for getting your name on the paper.
Yep, that's right. And then...
Quick win.
The other part of that is we just start with a summary sentence of what the role does. And so at the very top of the page, we have your name, we have your title, and we have a one-sentence summary of, hey, George, this is your role. This is what you do. This is ultimately what you're responsible for. So if someone asks you, hey, what do you do? You're able to tell them in this simple sentence of, this is what I do. And so as an example, if you're the owner of a business, it might be, hey, my role is responsible for the overall impact of my company and that it has on its customers. Or another example might be, my role is responsible for creating for driving towards our mission, creating vision, and driving strategies to reach that. That may just be the summary. It might be that easy.
So it's okay to be super simple. You want it to be for that first sentence.
That's right. If you have a sales leader, an example might be, my role is responsible for motivating the sales team and keeping them on track with our sales goals. Some
Don't
version
overthink
of that.
This one.
That's right. It's simple. Don't spend too much time. Every time I sit down to start a new KRA, I always have writer's block, and it takes me like 10 minutes to get in the groove. Just push through that and just start writing some things out and then start editing it down. So the next step of the process is going to be to identify your key result areas. These are the key areas that you are driving forward that are part of your role. I'm going to recommend that there's only going to be 2 to 4 of those for each person. If you're getting 5, 6, 7, that's too many. That's too much. You need to break it down, summarize it, make it clear and simple. And so examples of that might be maintain a relationship with clients, maintain quality control, grow and develop your direct reports. It might be manage the financials of the business. It might be creating and establishing our strategy. Anything of that nature, just a quick few words that capture the key areas. So once you have that, that's kind of your outline of your KRA. You have the different the key areas in your role. Then from there, the next part of the process is you're going to write out one sentence statement that's a summary of this, and it says, what does winning look like? And so you write one sentence that says, if you're winning in that key result area, it would be winning in this way. So for example, if one of your key result areas is drive the business forward, it might say the team has strong momentum towards our vision and our goals. Or it might be another one of saying, if If the key result is maximize the team, it might be hit our sales goals on a consistent basis because our sales team is engaged and focused on creating value for our customers and closing new deals. So just a one-sentence summary of what the world would look like if you are winning.
Here's the result if we do this right.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly. The next step is going to be writing out a list of bullet points of what it's going to take to make that area successful. So you just wrote out a statement saying what winning looks like. Now you're going to write a series of bullet points that describe the activities or actions you need to take to make that statement come true. So it might be, hey, you need to make 100 calls a day. Or, hey, you need to follow up with your team and do this. Hey, you need to actively be driving this. Whatever that may be, what are the habits and the actions you need to take? And this is simple. Do 3, 4, 5 bullet points. Don't do a huge, crazy long list. So all that together, you're going to have just a handful of key areas. Each of those key areas is going to have a statement that says what winning looks like. And then under that, you're going to have a few bullet points that describe the actions you need to do to win in that area. The very last step is at the bottom. And at the bottom of the page, all you're going to do is sit down with your team member and talk them through it, make sure they understand it, and then have them sign it. And so signing that is a written acknowledgement that, hey, I understand this, I'm for this, I'm on board with this, and I agree to stay accountable to this. And so there's something really powerful about putting your signature on it. It really, there's something
you take
deeper.
ownership.
Yeah, that's right. There's something deeper that happens there when you sign it.